So what exactly does it take to drive the ball 300 yards? Well, in this video, I'm going to be taking you through each individual parameter, club speed, ball speed, launch spin, talking about how to optimize the delivery and showing you exactly what is necessary to reach that 300-yard drive. So welcome back to Elite Performance Golf Studios and welcome back to another fun and interesting video. And we're kind of switching it up a little bit today. It's a bit of a different video. I don't normally talk about swing speed and coaching things or anything like that because it's not my speciality. But I do get the question a lot, how do you hit the ball so far for your size? And to clarify, I'm kind of 5'10", 5'11", and I weigh somewhere in the low 60 kilos range. So about 10 stone-ish, right? So I'm not the biggest guy in the world whatsoever. So when people see me hit it 300 plus yards, it's kind of like, wow, how are you doing that? So I'm going to clarify my thoughts and my processes and how I feel I've gained that speed and generated that speed over the years of having access to data and launch monitors. And also we've got this absolute monster back in the studio hitting some bombs, and I'm going to be asking him the same kind of thing. So how do you feel you've kind of optimized yourself for speed? How do you feel you've optimized your swing to gain speed? And what are your kind of thought processes around how to generate more speed? And we're also going to be touching on, well, what do we actually need to get that 300-yard drive? Like how much swing speed, how much ball speed, what kind of launch and spin are we looking at? How do we optimize those things in terms of, we'll be looking at path and angle of attack and sort of really how to optimize the delivery to make sure we're getting the most of what we've got. So it's really going to be like an all-encompassing video around the theory of how to generate more speed and then how to actually make sure we're optimizing the delivery to get the most out of what we can produce. It's going to be a very, very fun video. Right, so first of all, let's talk about exactly what we would need to generate a 300-yard drive. Like, first of all, we're going to talk about swing speed. So assuming that with this swing speed, it's a good centered contact, good strike, and therefore an efficient strike. And also assuming that we have a fairly efficient delivery to optimize distance. Now, what I'm going to mean by that is I'm going to be trying to hit kind of 4 or 5 up on the ball to get a nice high launch. Also going to be trying to have a reasonably neutral to slightly inside path. Therefore, allow me to get the face square to maybe even slightly close to the path to get a nice square impact on the ball to really make sure that strike's nice and efficient. Kind of typically if we have a very, very over the top or a big out to in kind of path, therefore obviously we're going to need to leave the face open to that path, which is going to create more loft and a very kind of glancy, less efficient strike. So for this example, we're going to be assuming those things. So let's get a couple and take a look at the numbers. Also, the very front edge of this green is set at 300 yards. And the conditions on the software, I've made it a little bit harder because a lot of people will say it will go further indoors, it will go further on these simulators. So what I've done is I've set the ground conditions to soft. So we're not going to get a lot of roll, similar to what it would be outside now because it's winter, November. I've put the temperature to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's pretty cool. You know, I've kind of not put any wind. I've put the sea level at 0 feet, so there's no altitude, no wind, nice and cold, soft ground conditions. So if anything, making it slightly harder to get that 300 yards. Again, it's pretty good. Yeah, 290 carry, very nice. Okay. Let's kind of discuss the variables within that delivery. So I'll pop this up on your screen now to make it a bit easier for you to see. So along the top, along this little top part here, we can see obviously ball speed, club speed, efficiency, carry, total. So ball speed, 159.7 to 160 mile an hour ball speed. Club speed at 112, we've got the efficiency at 1.43, which is decent on quad. I mean, it obviously measures swing speed different to TrackMan, so on TrackMan, really looking for that 1.5. On quad, you're looking at 1.45, 1.46 being pretty optimal. So 1.43 is a decent kind of efficiency. Carry 290, total 313. So kind of, I would assume on average, if you're looking at a 300-yard total drive, you're going to want to carry it minimum 275, but probably 280, 285 to kind of make sure we're getting that rollout, depending on ground conditions, of course. From a delivery perspective, we're 2 degrees in to out with the face 1.2 degrees closed to the path, or relative to the path, which is a very nice little draw delivery. We can see we ended up 13 yards left of the target line. I kind of set up aiming a little bit right, knowing I was trying to kind of hit a little bit of a draw. You can see the angle of attack was 5.6 up, which is great for kind of optimizing that kind of launch and spin conditions. You can see that the delivered loft at 17.5, so that leaves the spin loft in a pretty good place. I mean, towards the lower end, but a pretty good place. So we can see therefore it launched at 13 and spun at 19. So again, that spin's a little bit on the low side. I did hit it a little bit high toe, which is obviously gonna drag that spin down a little bit, of course. But those are pretty good launch conditions for optimizing distance. Okay, the spin's a little bit on the low side. We might not want that in a fitting, but again, for optimizing distance, it's a pretty good kind of set of launch parameters there. So realistically, we're saying a 160 ball speed is kind of what it's taking to get to a 290 carry with a very good delivery. If we had a suboptimal delivery, what it's going to take to get 290 carry is going to be very, very, very different. So realistically, I would say if your delivery is super optimized, like maybe even more so than that, like even hitting even more up. Now, I'm not saying that's good for a consistency or a swing dynamic thing, but if you were hitting kind of 7, 8 up, you can really start to launch that high with low spin. So I think realistically, everything being completely optimized, your swing and the club for distance, I think swing speed 110, something around that on quad, ball speed high 150s, like 157, 158 at the absolute minimum with perfect launch conditions to enable you to get that 300-yard total drive. And again, these are quad numbers which will be different to TrackMan and also very different to Top Tracer. Like if you're on Top Tracer, those ball speed numbers are quite exaggerated in my experience. I want to do a video on that, but they're a bit exaggerated. So now let's have a really quick look at what it would take to get that same carry with a less optimal delivery. And what I mean by that is I'm going to try and not hit up as much. Like I'm going to try and hit down. I won't be able to do it because I can't, but I'll try and hit up as least I can and a bit more across it. And let's see what it takes to get that carry from that delivery. I've also upped the loft, so still TSR3. The last set was TSR3, 9-degree head turned down to 8.25, so it's playing 8.25 degrees. This is TSR3, 10-degree, playing 10 degree. So obviously as soon as we kind of start to hit down a bit more, we need that little bit more loft to help get that kind of launch and spin and keep it in the air. So see what it takes with this delivery. That was a good one. So 1.6 up. That's good though. It's pretty much exactly the same. Oh, hello. Go on. Oh, pretty much exactly the same carry that. 2 yards more. I believe it was 289 the first time around. 289, I think it was. 291. Look at that speed difference. 117 club speed, 167 ball speed to get exactly the same carry. That was hard for me to do because it's very hard for me to hit one up on the ball. So again, we'll do the same sort of thing. I'll pop the little club data page up and we'll talk about it. So yeah, same thing again. I mean, that speed is just massively different, 167. So 143 efficiency, exactly the same as the first one, which is great. Path, we've now gone 4 out to in, and we're actually 0.6 closed to the path. So essentially square to the path, which is, again, it's a good example of a good swing and a good delivery, you know, or a good result for this delivery, because more often than not, if you're out to in, you're going to be leaving the face a bit open to the path. A lot of people would be, and you'll get a bit more of a kind of glancy blow and deliver a bit more loft, and it will lose you a bit of distance. But that was square to the path. So even with it being a good delivery or a good outcome for that delivery, the extra speed we needed to get to that 290 carry is just, that's another massive jump up from kind of that 110, 111 mile an hour to 117. and 160 ball speed up to 167. That is a jump. And I'm still hitting up 1.6. The delivered loft is actually quite similar, to be fair. So again, we're just hitting that spin loft gap widen. The launch and spin is actually not bad. 11.7 launch, 2600 backspin. Obviously, again, to optimize distance, we really want to get that launch up and get that backspin down. But in this scenario, I'd be saying to the person, right, well, actually, we need to look at getting your angle of attack a little bit more up, because at the minute, yes, I want to get that launch up. I don't want that spin to get any higher, and kind of trying to decouple them within a fitting is quite hard. So realistically, we just want to be hitting up on it more, so then we can get the delivered loft in the right place, to get the spin loft in the right place, to get the launch up and the spin down. Again, strike was really good, if anything, slightly higher on the face, which is great for optimizing distance as well. So yeah, I mean, we can see even with that being a decent delivery, decent outcome, by hitting up less and swinging more out to in, we needed to up that speed massively in order to get the same outcome, the same carry. Yes, as you can see, things like path and angle of attack are super important when it comes to kind of optimizing your delivery to maximize your distance potential. And I will do separate videos on those. Again, similar to this one, kind of just bounding around ideas, how I go about manipulating my delivery, how I change those parameters within my swing. This is good just to kind of get different ideas about. You know, some people it might click with and they might go, oh wow, yeah, that will work. I like that idea. I'll give that a go. And others it might not, and that's fine. You know, so I will be touching on those elements in a separate video. And now we kind of come to a bit of an impromptu podcast that's not a podcast. We got Fordy in the studio, and me and him kind of just have a discussion about speed. I ask him a bit about the gym, because he obviously spent a lot of time in the gym building up his strength. And I ask him questions about his theories around speed and how he develops speed. And then we kind of switch over, I hit some shots and he kind of asks me the same sort of thing and my ideas around speed. So it's just a bit of an open discussion, and we just kind of talk about kind of speed and how to generate it. So it's quite long, but there might be some good points in here, so I hope you enjoy it. Go on then, I'm going to put the pressure on. It's going to hit when I'm going to show this on YouTube, no matter what happens.
You're not putting shit one on YouTube.
You have to beat that out now, you. It's not bad.
Bit turned it over.
Yeah, but what's that? It's actually like, what, 10, 15 yards left of target line?
Yeah. 6,004, 126, 182.
127 club, 182 ball.
Yeah, it's a bit
quality strike.
Bit further towards the
quality strike.
heel side, yeah.
That is money.
Nice shape, isn't it?
It's right on the line.
Dong.
20 carry.
Interesting to see what that strike is.
It's great. Right in the middle.
180.
144 efficiency.
Still got it.
Still got it. Right, so let's start talking a little bit about speed and whatnot then. Let's talk a little bit about gym and gym work and what you would kind of, what did you start trying to do when you were trying to build up some kind of a bit of mass and a bit of speed? Were you training specifically for golf, or were you just training to train?
I grew up, I didn't touch the gym until I was properly touching until I was like 24.
Yeah.
Wasn't interested in it at all. Yeah. Even though like growing up watching Tiger, I always had the thought of I should train and just couldn't be bothered. But as a kid, I was always quick, like almost like, I don't know, fast twitch, or I was really wiry, like
a bit like me.
Yeah, I was very similar build to you, but I had speed. Probably again watching Tiger, like always that thought process, fast hips,
go,
really quick from the top, just turn. Got into the gym, and then I guess power became less effort.
Yeah.
Started to compress the ball more, felt like it was less effort to produce bigger numbers.
Yeah.
It takes some getting used to because you've got more mass on you, but
it's an interesting concept. I wouldn't even wouldn't even cross my mind as something that's a consideration in terms of like having more mass. You're moving more mass. Like you've got more muscle, but you weigh a lot more. So it's very different. Like movement patterns can change, I suppose.
Yeah, but I think it depends on the individual, because I've always been really lucky that I've been really flexible.
Yeah.
So like ironically, some of the best golf I've played is if I like, it sounds so corny, if I go to like the gym the day before and I train like hard or train whatever, chest or something, a lot of people would be like, oh, I'm really stiff. But it stops me getting too long at the top and too flare. It keeps me more compact.
Yeah.
I just found with me, it made me, especially with irons, I mean, I can be wild with driver, as we know.
We all can.
Yeah, but I found with irons, I was way more confident to really compress the ball more because you're just stronger.
Yeah.
I think there's extremes. Like, I don't think I'm the stereotypical build of a golfer.
Yeah.
Far from it. I think.
Right, it's getting a lot more like it now, though, with the training.
Yeah, I mean, Bryson's
Yeah.
the end of that spectrum.
Yeah.
The guys that I would idolise in terms of physique and training, or three guys I'd say would be DJ, naturally gifted with that physique, but trains hard.
Yeah.
So he's strong. Rory's the pinnacle. Is
of course, yeah.
5'10"?
I don't even think he's 5'10", is he? Shorter
Maybe
than
a bit shorter, but
5'7",
again, so
5'8".
he had speed growing up, then trained to get stronger, and now look at him. Again, it's that more control of consistent power.
Yeah.
He's not trying to swing as hard as he can. He just cruises. He cruises now the high 120s. I mean, he's seriously quick.
Well, he's in the 180s on course, isn't he? Like that there, your numbers there, 125 club, 180 ball. That's 144 efficiency, so that's efficient.
Yeah.
So you've got to be in high 120s on quad to be getting into kind of low 180s ball speed. And he's generally on that on course.
Yeah, I think he cruises that.
And
he has the ability to then cruise, the ability to then get to high 180s ball speed, even to, I've seen him like clock 190.
Yeah,
you know, on
I don't know if
PGA
he's got
Tour.
to 200, but he's definitely got to 190s.
Yeah, but I've seen him do that on course, like on PGA Tour. He's got to 190 ball speed. You know, watching it and just around a golf.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say to people as well, like if you're going to train, don't just go in there and try and deadlift the world off the gym floor. You'll hurt your back. I've done that. Like I would speak to people about it, and you can train specifically for the speed element.
Yeah.
And you just feel a bit more. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, stronger over the ball.
Stronger. Yeah. More. Yeah.
But then you've got your side of things.
Well,
like,
I was about to say, I would feel like wobbly.
With
and that's
the
probably
mass.
why that's probably why I'm less consistent with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm wiry and gangly. There's probably too many moving parts going on. Whereas you're, like say, stronger, more compact, like power. Whereas I've had to gain my power in different elements. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like in your golf swing? What do you feel like is the number one thing that you kind of do to help you generate speed? Is there one specific like move or part of the body that you think of to generate more speed? Like even today, you've been trying to get more speed, right? Compared to you haven't been here in what, like almost a year?
Almost a year, yeah.
So you're looking at your numbers going, I'm slow, I'm going to get quicker.
Yeah.
So in half an hour, you've got quicker.
Yeah.
What's the thought process been to try and generate more speed? Or is it literally just swing faster?
Yeah, it kind of but with technique, like if I got into the sim straight away and go, right, I'm going to try and let's get to 135, I would have missed the golf ball. Like it does take the feel of it, of where you are, and then once you get that feel, right, I'll start cranking it up. But me personally, if I'm really trying to like hit it really, really far, it's the whole like almost long drive thing. I try and lean back, weight further back, and I have this feeling of the club head really hitting up on the ball and releasing right.
Releasing out right,
Releasing right, almost feeling my right hand do this. And then just the usual things.
The right hand turning a bit more.
Yeah, so almost I'm feeling the club head coming in from here, you know, club's coming in from the inside, hitting up on the ball and releasing that way.
Yes.
And hit it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And then it's the whole notion of far, like I always think Cam Champ's the best guy to look at that. If you want to hit the ball further, watch him swing, because his belt buckle goes from here to there in a split second.
Yeah.
And you think that, I'm just thinking, right, release that way and hips go there as quick as possible.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. So it's interesting you say that actually, and we'll touch on something about that later, because I think that is a massive key to speed in terms of like the ability to generate speed through technique, like you say. Because like so many people that I see, like literally 4-5 people in the last 2 days, like have that move where you're kind of tucked in there, don't have a full turn, and then from this position here, you're only ever going to go that way. In the shaft, only ever going to get steeper. So from here, you literally physically cannot generate speed.
Yeah. So I found one of the things when I started to put on a bit of weight. So when I was a kid, I think I showed you videos when I first met you because you didn't believe me, because I could not get the thing from the inside.
Yeah.
I used to really bring it from the inside. put on mass, started to lean over and sort of
get more upper body strong.
Yeah, upper body and throw it over.
Yeah.
And then I got coaching again, and then that helped massively. You know, I understood club path more. Once you get the club on the right path, then you can start swinging harder and trying to hit it further.
That speed. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say with it. So that's a couple of things that I'm thinking there.
Yeah.
2 or 3 max. Yeah. Then leave it there, and then it is just about. I don't do it on a golf course. Don't try it on the golf course. Go to a driving range. Get a bucket of 30 balls once you're warm, and just hit it hard.
Yeah.
Get confident with that feel of speed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we was actually saying earlier about getting numbers as well, because when you get numbers, you start to chase more.
Correct.
Like I've seen it, you've seen it since you started coming when we used to film together. I saw it all the time. With access to numbers, you just naturally get quicker because you're always chasing it. You're always trying and you're always tracking it. So if you can do it consistently and get those numbers consistently, you will just build speed.
Yeah, and I think
you want to. You're always like, I want to hit it further, I want to hit it harder.
And then you get the belief of going, oh, actually, I've been to the range load, you know, coming to, oh, mate, I've been to the range loads and I want to see what I've done. And you see the improvement. Oh, great, this is working.
Yeah.
That gym work, all that range time is paying off.
Yeah.
Keep going. Then I think it's all about as well, because I've stood in this sim and swung like an absolute moron and got big numbers.
Yeah.
But it's not playable.
Yeah.
But you want to get to a place where you can cruise at a pretty, what for you personally, what is a good speed.
Exactly.
But you can't, that's not going to happen. there is work involved.
A lot of work, yeah. And you're
I'm not talking about hitting it straight. We're solely talking about distance.
We don't need to hit it straight. We'll pick, overrated that.
We'll pick another.
But you're right, and I think a lot of people, like even I see in here quite often, where people are a little bit, they're kind of put off, or they don't want to swing fast. And I'm like, just swing fast. Don't worry about it. Just go for it. They're like, yeah, but I won't swing like that on course. I'm like, but that's not the point. Like, I don't want you to swing like that on course. But when you put in the work for months, then your max is up 10, 15 mile an hour. Your cruising speed's up 5, 6, 7 mile an hour, and that's now under control. 5, 6, 7 mile an hour faster. That's the point, isn't it? And I think that's the way you need to look at it.
And I think from an amateur level, love it or hate it, the game has gone in a direction where distance does play a big part. And I think for people out there, I'm a big advocate of making it as fun as possible. Yeah, it's fun to hit the ball a long way. Like if you're with your mates and say your target is to hit it 240 with a driver, and you crank one out there at 250. And you're in front of your mates and you've outdriven them by 10 yards, it's a good feeling.
Absolutely. So it does make the game. I mean, I even noticed it when I had a guy that used to work here, and he's a good golfer, like single figure golfer, but he was hitting like driver 3-wood and I was hitting driver 54-degree wedge. And it's like, it's not even the same game. Yeah. Like there's no way if I'm on form, you're touching me, hitting driver 3-wood when I'm hitting driver wedge. No matter how good you are. Like, so it does make the game so much easier as well.
And then it's fun as well. I mean, this plays into your hands, but you get some good coaching. You've done some gym work. You've used a personal trainer. He or she's taught you the right things. I'm feeling good. Then you come in and see you and say, okay, right, well, let's put the loft down a little bit. Yeah. Let's maybe change the shaft up, maybe change the length, and suddenly again you've gained 10 yards. Yeah. You know, that again, there's another element of it, and it becomes more fun. From experience, when I was this didn't exist. But you I feel, you know, when you come into a situation like this and go, right, I'll put the work in, then get fit, it feels a lot better. Yeah. You know, you've got no excuse then.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. And actually, like previous to this, I did do a little bit of an example of, well, actually I hit one where I hit like a good delivery and one where I hit a bad delivery, and to get the same distance out of it, one was 160 ball, 290 carry, one was 167 ball, 290 carry. Like, so you're right, you put the right work in and then get fit properly, and that's just as important. Making sure you've got right launch and spin is probably as important as having the speed, because if you've got spinning at 3,500, it ain't gonna matter what.
We've proved that with me in here. Like you can swing it at 130 plus miles an hour, but if your spin's over 3,000, your numbers won't look very good. Yeah,
absolutely. Come on in, let's crank one more. Do you ever think about hand speed?
No. Who have I heard talk about that quite a lot? I can't remember if it was Champ, but someone on tour that their feel is they whip the hand. It might have been Bryson actually. Yeah, I think he was talking about a long drive, that he was saying that through the ball he feels like he can gain speed by like almost
releasing basically.
Releasing the club like using his wrist, or then he got to he got a wrist operation, didn't he? So maybe
maybe. But they do, yeah, of course. Like if you're, and I'll talk about that with my bit in a minute. But
I think also setup's important. So like, and this is if we're going, you know, you're trying to really gain distance on the driving range, and it's just all the things that everyone can read in your magazines or you know, whatever kind of teaching videos. Stance a lot wider, ball further off the front foot, weight back, and again that feeling of like hitting up on the ball.
Going
That's
that
what
way.
Rory said. I mean, his attack angle was.
I think he's at 5, but I think he's starting to get lower now.
Yeah, it used to be more extreme, but that's that lower loft, you know, low loft, angle of attack, hit up on the ball, less spin, ball's going to go further.
Yeah.
So it goes to setup. You know, if you're trying to hit the ball further and suddenly the ball's off your back foot and your weight's forward,
you're screwed.
You've got no chance.
Absolutely screwed. Yeah.
I've said all that. I'm going to top it in the bush now. Just
nice big high draw.
That was really high on the face, I think.
Was it? Yeah.
I think so.
Really well though. 320 carry again.
Yeah. It felt all right. It just felt a whole lot higher on the face.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, it was hard. That's a really interesting strike for you. But again, the numbers are actually okay. 14 launch, 1960 backspin.
That's kind of a miss hit, but it's done really well.
Yeah. But it is what I say to a lot of people, high on the face quality is a miss. Like it goes miles.
Yeah, I mean, you drop the spin loads, don't you?
Yeah, and the launch goes up. You lose ball speed, but it carries a long way.
Yeah. But I think from a fitting standpoint, like your opinion on it is, I think if you want to gain ball speed and hit a long way, I think you can go too far the other way with equipment. In terms of you come in here and go like, de-loft the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And then you get to a stage where you have to swing like an idiot.
Yeah.
To get the most out of it. I think that's too far the other way.
No, that's a good point. It's a good point of being aware of what changes you make to your equipment, because you would then build in compensations within your swing that you maybe don't even realise that you're doing, because you're being adjusted to the ball flight you see. It's going too low or whatever. You will probably start making some crazy moves at it and trying to hit up too much or whatever. But yeah, you don't. I'm generally quite balanced in my fits, to be fair. With a lot of people, if they want to come in gaining yardage, especially with irons, I'm like, I'm going to give you a balanced ball flight, and then if you want to hit it further, you've got to go get more speed. Yeah. I'm going to give you where you should be now for your speed, then go get more speed.
And that's what we said earlier about like, I would get to a place when you go to a fit that you feel good. You've put in work.
Which most golfers never do.
Never come. No. I mean, or you're in between, like you're middle, and you get fitted, then you'll get yourself into those. But don't get fitted, then go right. I'm going to go use the gym and like gain speed, and suddenly you've got a shaft that is so wrong for you. Yeah, and it's irrelevant.
Well, I don't want to sound big-headed, but I think that's why you should come here. But like genuinely, if there's anything within the delivery or anything with the numbers, I'd always just say to someone, like, this isn't maybe optimal, or maybe that could be better, and maybe if you do go away and change those things, now you're going to need a different driver. Yeah. So, do you want to change, or do you just want me to fit you for how you swing? And it's fine, but
yeah, I'd say one of the most advantageous things that I have. I'm not standing here as a +5 golfer. I'm standing here as I can be good on a good day and terrible on a bad day. But
most of us.
If you gain speed, then driver isn't the be all and end all, especially in this country where the courses aren't that long. And I hit 2 on a lot, you know, and I feel more comfortable when you get to a place where you think, I don't have to hit driver on every hole because I've gained a bit of ball speed. I'm going to hit my 3-wood or hit my 2-on or I've got a rescue, you know, or an iron. Yeah. And that sometimes makes the game easier for people.
Absolutely. Like 4-iron, you know, your 4-iron's probably 230. Yeah. My 4-iron's 215, 220. Like you don't, even with that, it makes it so much easier, doesn't it? Like knock an iron off the tee, still getting long par 4s into comfortably. Yeah,
and you'd say to someone, okay, if I gave you an 8-iron on a driver and you had to hit that white line, what would you hit the white line more often with? 90% of people say my 8-iron.
Obviously, yeah, of course. Sound is great.
Yeah, it's the wrong way.
Hit that path. Well, that could keep going. That could double hit the path.
Boing.
Go on.
Oh.
345.
Probably a bit better.
Yeah, 125. I think you're just aiming a bit far right, mate, to be honest.
But it's like we were saying earlier, so that is, I mean, that's not straight, but that's me trying to hit a driver. Yeah. But then if I was like, we were in here and we've had sessions in here, you're like, Fordy, come on, let's like crank it. I'm literally trying, I'm not thinking about, so much about strike. It's just quite literally trying to swing as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're trying to gain speed, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about anything.
But that's not me going, I'm going to use this. It's just, what can we get to?
Yeah.
And then we've had sessions where then I'm just going to hit a few, and suddenly you've gained like 4 mile an hour because that feels slow.
Yeah.
But you've just been at a much higher level.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's all in America anyway, aren't they? So.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounded great. It's a big carry.
Familiar line.
Yeah, you're just aiming at that tree consistently.
Literally just aiming. There you go, 129.
That's good. It's quick.
188.
Quick. So did you try and do anything completely differently there in terms of like anything, or just
literally just try to hit the ball hard? A lot of people
you're not very helpful here, are you, Fordy?
Huh?
You're not very helpful, yeah?
Yeah.
What did you do? I tried to do it harder.
Tried it harder. I like people have commented on videos of me and they always say like, God, you look like you take it back really fast. Whereas actually, ironically, I feel like when I'm trying it really hard, you're all like amped up, but I still think get to the top, then just go mental.
Right, okay.
But because you're all like hyped up, you probably do. But I would say quite good advice is like keep quite good form, like get yourself in a good position to then absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's so important though, isn't it?
Crank it, yeah.
If you're not in a good position, you can't crank it.
No.
Like,
I'm quicker when I'm from the inside.
yeah, everyone is.
Yeah, but I had to learn that.
Yeah.
That because I think I've seen a lot of people do this as well, including me. Did it for a long time. It would be to the top. I want to hit this as hard as possible. This.
Yeah.
You throw it.
Yeah.
Because you're so desperate to hit the ball, and then suddenly you're de-lofting it, and the strike's awful.
Well, again, that's something I'm going to touch on. To be fair.
Bought me. Weird that that's
you just get quick when you're trying to go quick, don't you? Like when you're trying to ramp it up, you do get quicker on the way back.
Yeah, it's everything, isn't it?
But again, that's something that you can do and I can't do, and I think that comes down to strength.
Yeah. Do you remember when we got those like pretty big numbers? Who was I watching? Carl Berkshire.
Yeah.
Like if you want to hit the ball a long way, just
Makes
watch.
sense.
Don't listen to me. Just watch videos of Carl Berkshire.
Yeah. He knows what he's talking about.
Everyone talks about when you're trying to gain distance, trigger moves.
Yeah.
And his was the feet. So he would go. I think it was like one.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
and it gave me like this move
Doesn't
back.
he do that so much anymore, does he?
Not as much, but he still even. Do you know who does it now? DJ.
Oh really?
DJ has this thing where he I saw it in a video the other day. He like does that before he hits it.
Kind of comes off.
Just a trigger.
Yeah.
I've always had a trigger. I kind of like go. I like have a bit of a
dip a little bit, like
a bit of a not quite Matt Wolf, but
a mini Matt.
Yeah.
Get yourself a mini Matt. Sounded pumped.
Oh, just keep aiming there.
I swear you are aiming at that tree.
Yeah.
It's a great shot though. Oh, bad kick. Bad kick.
So that's 184.
In the tree.
That's the
127, 180. Yeah, 3.5, 84.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen your efficiency consistently at 145. Like that is so efficient.
What is max? 145.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, yeah, it's all relative to swing speed. Like if I hit a 2-iron at like 100 mile an hour swing speed, but you're delivering 12 degrees of loft, it's going to be super efficient. So you can get 147, 148, but you can't really get that.
That's why we need this tall pines hole.
Oh, that was absolutely pumped. Gary!
Nutted.
That was like about as good as I can hit it. It's at 120, 120, 174. Just absolutely pumping it.
Oh, gunned.
Get down there, get that 350. 347.
Bit out of breath.
Yeah, it is sad, isn't it?
118,
Good
172. Mate,
we must be
consistent strike.
We must be having an efficient day, mate. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no. So what? Like we were just chatting a minute ago. How? I think you got to what? 127.
Once.
Once. But you did it, like that, again, we were saying earlier, like it's so trying to achieve a silly number.
Yeah.
Then you know it's achieved when you turn it back down to a cruise.
Yeah.
What did you, was it just because me and you were hanging around together and we were like,
well, I think I was doing it consistently. Like I was doing it almost on a daily basis where I was on quad and I was hitting absolute nuts out driver. And I think that's all that did it. And I was trying to figure out ways. I was always looking at numbers and always trying different things and just trying to figure out like, how do I get more speed or what do I feel to get more speed. And at the time, like I remember always taking it back on the inside.
Yeah.
Because like we said earlier, if you get to a position where you can crank it, I always felt like if I kind of like closed off a bit and dragged it in a little bit more and then went up, well now I'm in a position where I feel like I've got such a big turn and the hands can just drop down and then I can just absolutely like launch it.
But you're saying the same as me. You're like from that, I just say you feel like releasing the club head out and right because you're coming from the inside. Like your hands are, using that hand speed to kind of whip it around.
So it's interesting, like when I said about hand speed to you, that's pretty much, I think about hand speed and lag. That's all I think about.
Look at some of the best, not long drivers, but longest hitters that have ever lived. They've got crazy. Sergio's a great example.
Yeah, the lag's insane.
One of the best ball strikers ever has always been long. And he was long before, long was long, I guess.
He's quick,
And he just lags the hell out of it.
And like I think that word lag got a lot of maybe negative press or maybe people started to think about it too much. So all I would say to people that are watching when it comes to lag is I just be relaxed. Like as I feel like I'm at the top, I feel like I leave the club there. I always feel like the club head's leaving there and my hands are just, I'm quick with the hands.
Yeah.
And the good thing with like me, I've got a bit of a strong grip, not Ryan Fox strong, but a bit of a strong grip. So the club face is always in quite a reasonably strong position-ish. So I don't feel like I have to worry about releasing. I feel like I can lag, pull, turn. And it's always in a pretty nice position.
And what shot shape are you thinking?
I'm not.
Well, that's good. That's exactly what I think. When I'm trying to hit it stupid, I don't really care where it goes.
No.
I'm thinking about as hard as I can hit a golf ball and see what happens. And then 1 out of 10, you might square the face.
Yeah. And I think actually touching on that like lag and that angle, I think like the amount of people that I see, if they're a bad ball striker, they're trying to steer it. And this is like people try and steer, in my opinion, too much. So they'll almost be trying to hold the angle and then hold in order to control the face. Yeah. But there's no angles, there's no kind of lag at all, and then there's no forward shaft linear impact at all. So we're always like losing angles and you're getting fat, hitting it thin, can't control low point, starting to lose speed.
Another one I mentioned him earlier, who reminds me of that is Cam Champ.
Yeah.
He is so laggy, but always looks like really, and looks really like loose.
Yeah, he is.
It's like effortless power.
Well, he talks about like a whip, doesn't he?
He whips,
like down as he's turning, and that's like down
and it's the belt buckle.
Yeah, like it's so hard to do that, isn't it?
I know, but he's not thinking about again where club is. I think he's just thinking about. I watched that interview, and he's just like literally thinking, I'm trying to get my belt buckle left as quick as possible.
Yeah.
But he's a tour pro, so he's slotting it into an unbelievable position.
That's the difference. I think with most people, the problem with it is some coaching, when they talk about the hips, we need the hips, but people only then start thinking about the hips. The hips like fire too early, get like disconnected, and you just get in a horrible position where we're like, what the hell do I do now?
Well, that's what we said as well. Like, I think they're striving for speed. The first thing is coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching.
Trying to get in that position.
Some kind of fitness work, then blend the two together.
I need to do some fitness. I've not done any fitness in like so long. So all I'm really like, 118, that's like okay. But I got so many different swing thoughts to generate speed. It's so weird. So that felt like, I feel like I get too that way. But when I pull, I get too much like that, which I think loses speed. Whereas if I try and hit a cutter, I feel a drop and a turn. So more like that.
Yeah.
I generally generate as much speed. Probably doesn't look.
I think the big one for you though is that like looseness. When we were
trying to hit that little cut.
When you were trying to get like as fast as you can go, like 8 months ago, whatever it was, you kept saying, "I don't feel like I'm actually trying to hit it this hard." You were just lagging.
No.
You were just lagging the hell out of it.
Yeah,
which gained you the speed.
It's another good point because I can't. When people say go quicker on the way back, if I go quicker on the way back, I lose speed.
Well, that's what me and you were saying. You said earlier when I was trying to hit it really hard, I look like I'm trying to hit it really, really hard.
And that's the thing, right? So if I try, let's try and go like quick. So I'm going to go quick, long, fast.
Yeah.
I decked it.
But that,
I can't do it. Like, I'm not strong enough to control my body.
Yeah, but again, that probably goes, you can talk about gym work and stuff, but I think that's also personal preference. We both like to feel.
Yeah.
I'm like amping myself up and I just write hard, speed. But then you have to time it.
Yes, yeah.
You have to be able to time it somewhat.
And it comes down, like you say, it comes down to like self-discovery, and I think this is appreciated in golf. Like even if you're getting coaching, don't be afraid, I don't think, to explore other things because it's not linear and it's not one-dimensional. Same as with speed. Like some things work for some people and don't work for others. It's the same in every area.
Yeah, speed is just its own unique thing, isn't it? But one thing I've always thought as well, you know, you're saying about you go to a range and get a bucket of 30 balls, just try and hit 15. Literally as hard. If you miss the ball, just try and smash it. Yeah. But then if you take that back to training aids for speed, you know, the speed sticks.
Yeah.
You're not even hitting a ball.
Stack and stuff now. Yeah.
You're not hitting a ball.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But the whole, so I did it with a friend. I didn't like them, and then I kind of got the idea of them, especially if you are trying to gain speed from day dot, because you're taking the process of hitting a ball out of it.
Exactly.
You're not, I haven't hit a massive slice. It's beside the point. You're just trying to hit a shaft. You're trying to swing a shaft literally as fast as possible, and the number on the screen says up or down. Yeah. Then you chase it. Yeah. Then you put a club on your hand.
Can't do it.
No, but you've had that training, that feeling of like speed, movement, and how you know, if you're looking at a number, go right, I'm sinking my body that way to get that speed. Put a club in your hand and go, okay, let's try and emulate that. Yeah.
But my only problem with that, like in principle, I think it's great and I think it can help you achieve speed. But my problem with that is like when there's a ball there, you've got to make contact with the ball. So any compensations that you have within your swing, you won't be able to do with when there's a ball there. So like,
I mean, my personal preference is I've always like, again, speed is simulator. Simulators changed my game. Like I've gained more speed out of simulators in the last 3-4 years than driving ranges, because you're in a, you know, you've got all the numbers, you're in nice conditions, like there's nothing around you. But I would say go to a range and, like I said, buy 30 balls, 10 warm up, 5 normal, 15. Just try and
absolutely murder
them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. 100% would agree with that.
And again, right now we're talking about speed. We are not talking about. We're not talking about
control.
Go and shoot good scores. This is just to gain speed.
That's high on the face.
That's going to be very low spin though.
Very low spin, yeah. Still going to carry 300. Yeah, 307. But so high on the face. We would just say this is probably too much of a low spin setup for me anyway, to be fair. But so 120.
What setup did you have when you got to that 127?
I can't.
Wasn't that TSI 3 with like
probably was
5x maybe?
Yeah, probably was. Yeah, but I think I dabbled with head weight a little bit as well. Then I think this is just stock head weight. I think I might actually plus 2 grams in this head, but yeah. Come back. Oh, it's trying. It's trying.
2 good things to talk about as well is the difference. Like, it depends what you're trying to chase. Are you trying to chase club speed or ball speed? So me personally, and I remember I got to 142.8 or whatever it was. Yeah. That was with a 45.5 or 45-inch shaft, which I hate. Yeah. So I play mine at 44.25. Yeah. The ball speed was low because I misstrike the hell out of it. But if I'm trying to chase ball speed, I'll go to my normal length because I know that I can middle it.
44.25.
And I can middle it more often than not.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you want ideally both to be going well. But the ball speed side of it, like you have to hit the ball out of the center of the club face.
Yeah. Well, you have to be I'll touch on efficiency in a minute, to be fair, but I think like you need the club speed enabled to get the ball speed is the thing, isn't it, I suppose? So you're right, like it's pointless if you can't hit that middle, but it's pointless if you haven't got the speed. So I think it depends on how you want to look at it, but I think you need to build the speed and then learn to hit it in the middle.
I agree.
To be fair.
Well, that's what they teach when I was a kid. This is like when this is 98, 99, whatever it was. Like you're just concentrating on like you said on the driving range, just hit the ball really, really hard.
Yes.
Then learning how to hit out of the middle.
Speed. Speed, and then don't worry about it. Yeah, like that. Don't worry about it.
But I mean, that's offline. But again, if you're on the range and you're just trying to like gain those yards, I wouldn't even worry about that. You're not trying to hit the ball.
No.
At the first stage of it, you're not trying to hit the ball straight. You're just trying to go, right, what does it feel like to hit something really hard?
Yeah.
Then you learn the technique to square it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the efficiency, it's really frustrating actually. I've got a little story about kind of efficiency. So low spin.
Do you want to explain efficiency? The amount of people that we've had comment on videos because, he swung it at silly distance, but it's gone nowhere. There's a reason.
Well, there's a few, the base concept, that's a good delivery, he just struck it right at the top. The base concept's obviously simple, isn't it? It's the amount of, how efficient's the strike, simply. So how much ball speed do we get out of the club speed? Input for output. So again, obviously, quad, different to TrackMan. Most people come in and go, 1.5, isn't it? That's TrackMan numbers. Reads club speed very differently to quad. So for example, that club speed on there was 120. On quad, on TrackMan, 117, 116, maybe, something about that. So hence why the ball speeds will always read the same. They're very good on ball speed. They just read club speed differently. So TrackMan will read a lower club speed, but the same ball speed, hence why we'll get more efficiency. So it's just an equation of how efficient was strike. So, but this is like registering, this is all 2D space, like within the quad realm, whereas actually real life's 3D space. So I used to find it a lot with my friend. He was just a more efficient player than me. Everything on this could be the same. Path, face to path, strike, delivered loft, everything, he would be more efficient than me. There's like an intangible element of timing involved. As you get better, as you become a better golfer, your timing just becomes better. Like you're talking milliseconds, you're talking like things you can't even really see, but it's like those little things. So I think when you train speed and then you worry about training strike, like you will just get better. It will take months and years. Yeah. But it happens.
Got to put in the time, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Nothing comes easy in this game at all. It's all really,
The game owes you nothing.
It's just stupidly hard game, to be honest. I just cannot stop not hitting off the top. The delivery's actually okay. I'm not getting any backspin. Yeah. So there we go. If you've watched all the way through, then thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you picked up maybe some tips or some pointers or some ideas to maybe help you out. It's always good within golf. There's no one specific way of doing things. There's multiple ways of reaching the same goal, and what works for someone might not work for someone else. So it's always good to try things, experiment, learn, expand your knowledge base. And yeah, we're coming at it from good golfers kind of level. We're not coming at it from an elite coaching perspective, because I'm not. I'm a fitter with a good understanding of the swing, the mechanics and my swing, and how I go about manipulating things and changing things, and just spending years on a launch monitor. So yeah, I really hope that there was something in there that was good, informative, if not at least a bit of fun. And stay tuned, because we've still got loads more to come. I've still got the wish on one length video to do. I'm going to do a video on different grip sizes, so I'm going to be testing on quad, standard, mid-size and jumbo grips as well, kind of seeing if there's any difference in delivery and closure rate and shot pans, all those kind of things as well. And yeah, loads more to come. So please make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one.